16-year-old teen laughs out loud in court, then the judge speaks the verdict.
In court after an admitted killer is caught on camera smiling during his sentencing.
A 16-year-old killer sits in court, laughing and smiling while the victim's heartbroken mother speaks, shocking everyone in the room. The judge, furious at the teen's disrespect, almost cancels the plea deal, threatening a trial that could change everything. What happens next will leave you stunned.
Wright sat in court smiling and nearly laughing as a mother shed tears for her son, shot and killed by Wright.
The judge had seen a lot in 23 years on the bench. Hardened criminals, remorseless killers, defendants who showed zero empathy, but never, not once in over 2 decades, had the judge been tempted to throw out a plea deal because of a defendant's courtroom behavior.
Smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal.
To understand why that smile was so devastating, you need to know who Jordan CLE was and what happened to him. Jordan CLE was 18 years old when he died, a high school senior with dreams bigger than his small town, an athlete who worked hard, studied harder, and had people who loved him deeply. He was supposed to graduate, go to college, build a life. Instead, he became another young life cut short by senseless violence.
He admitted he shot and killed 18-year-old Jordan Klee.
It happened during a robbery. Daunte Wright and his crew wanted money and clothes, material things that could be replaced. But instead of working for what they wanted, they chose violence. And when Jordan resisted, when he fought back, they took something far more valuable. They took his life.
This is not the first time the teen has shocked the courtroom. Back in June during a pretrial hearing, he admitted he shot and killed 18-year-old Jordan Klee.
One bullet, one terrible decision, and Jordan's mother lost everything that mattered. So when she stood before the court that day, everyone expected respect.
Lost my only child, my son, my baby, my friend. More than that, I've lost laughter and love. I no longer have the hope of having grandchildren. I've lost the enjoyment of holidays and birthdays and of everyday life.
At the very least, basic human decency from the person who had destroyed her world. But Daunte Wright gave her nothing. While she spoke about the grandson she would never meet, the wedding she would never attend, the simple joy of a phone call she would never receive again, Wright stood there looking amused, like her pain was entertaining, like her son's death was funny.
I could continue with all the loss. I won't. This year was supposed to be a year of celebration, of senior pictures with prom and graduation and parties.
The judge's face changed. You could see the anger rising, the frustration boiling over after years of maintaining professional composure. The gavel came down hard, and the words that followed made everyone in that courtroom hold their breath.
Watching you sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial, and if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there.
The judge announced they were reconsidering the entire plea agreement. Perhaps this case needed to go to trial instead. Wright's lawyer went pale. The prosecutors exchanged worried glances. The plea deal that would send Wright to prison for 23 to 50 years was suddenly hanging by a thread.
I understand that obviously this is the defendant who brutally murdered their son by shooting him in the back of the head. He's shown absolutely no remorse. He's written rap songs to other murderers about continuing killing. And throughout the victim impact statements today, he smiled and laughed throughout the entire proceeding.
A trial meant a jury would hear every gruesome detail, and if convicted of second-degree murder, armed robbery, and felony firearm possession, Wright would face life in prison, not decades with a chance at parole. Life. Wright's casual demeanor cracked. His attorney jumped up immediately, words tumbling out in a desperate attempt to salvage the situation.
Your Honor, my client asked me to apologize to the court. His smiling was in no way meant as disrespectful either to the family, to the victim, or to this court.
The defense attorney pleaded with the judge, apologizing on behalf of his client. He explained that the smiling and laughter were not what they appeared to be. His client had significant emotional issues. He was only 17 years old. He was terrified. Sometimes fear manifests in ways that seem inappropriate, that can be misinterpreted as disrespect when the person is simply unable to process the enormity of what they have done. The defense attorney kept talking, painting a picture of a traumatized teenager struggling with emotional maturity, a boy who insisted the shooting was not intentional.
Problems, and frankly was scared. And some people display fear by smiling. He really meant no disrespect. He does take this very seriously.
But here's what nobody heard: an apology from Daunte Wright himself. Not through his lawyer, not filtered through legal language. Wright never looked at Jordan's mother and said he was sorry, never acknowledged in his own words what he had taken from her. The lawyer apologized, but Wright remained silent. Jordan's mother listened to all of it, the excuses, the justifications, the clinical explanations, and then she spoke again, her voice raw with pain.
On the nights I managed to sleep, I wake up hearing my son scream for me, to then have to realize all over again, night after night, my son is dead, gone, taken. For what? Why? Can you answer the question? Why?
She asked why. That was all she wanted to know. Why did her son have to die? For money? For clothes? For things that did not even matter? Jordan had his whole life in front of him. He was going to do something important. He was good and kind, and he loved his family. And Wright had taken him from her for material possessions. Every word landed like a physical blow. Every question hung in the air unanswered because there was no good answer. Her son was gone over a robbery, over material possessions, over nothing.
I feel hate in my heart. Here is what I hope. I hope that every time you want for a jacket, that you stay cold. I hope that every time you want for shoes, you get a hole in yours.
She talked about the moments she would never get back, the random text messages Jordan used to send, the surprise visits with her favorite food, family dinners filled with laughter. All of it vanished, stolen by someone who could not even bother to look remorseful while she grieved. But then Jordan's mother said something that shocked everyone, maybe even more than Wright's disrespectful behavior. She told the court she did not want a trial. She wanted this to be over. She wanted to move forward, despite everything, despite the smirking and the complete absence of visible remorse. The victim's family chose to proceed with sentencing rather than drag this case through months or years of trial. They had already suffered enough. Trials meant reliving the trauma again and again. They wanted justice, but they also wanted something resembling peace.
However, the Plea family does want to move on with this. They want to get some closure from this case. They want to try and forgive this defendant and all of his actions for what he did. And they are asking, as well as the people, that you proceed with the sentencing.
The judge acknowledged their decision with visible emotion. The sentence came down heavy and final: 23 to 50 years in prison for second-degree murder, armed robbery, and felony firearm possession. 23 years minimum before Daunte Wright would even be eligible for parole. He would be an old man before he had any chance of tasting freedom again, if he ever did at all. Wright was affiliated with the Finesse Gang, a criminal organization whose influence had shaped his choices, and he had not acted alone. Two other defendants, Delrano Gracie and Jeremiah Ellison, had already pled guilty to their roles in Jordan's murder.
Why will never be better than his life. Your want will never trump my son's death. You get to live, get to wake up every day. Your life continues. I sincerely hope that whatever it was you wanted so badly that you felt the need to murder my son was worth the next at least 52 years of your continued existence.
Jordan's mother delivered her final statement before the gavel fell. She looked directly at Daunte Wright, her eyes red from crying, but her voice steady.
Help. Your actions have led you to a prison cell, but have also created an empty cell that I live in every day. While you can still hope to be released one day, I'll never escape my help. You are still alive, but Jordan has no future.
She told him she would never understand why. She would spend every day for the rest of her life asking that question. Her son was gone. Wright's own son would now grow up without a father because of the choices he made. She did not wish harm on him. She genuinely hoped he would change while in prison. She hoped he would become someone different, someone better. She hoped he would raise his child away from gangs and violence and the path that brought him to this courtroom. She paused, fresh tears streaming down her face, but she needed him to understand something. Jordan did not get a second chance. He did not get to change or grow or become someone better. Wright had stolen that from him. He had stolen Jordan's future, his dreams, everything he could have been. Her son was gone and he was never coming back.
I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon. I love my family.
That's all you got to say.
The gavel fell. Sentencing complete. Guards moved forward and placed handcuffs on Daunte Wright's wrists. His smirk was finally gone, replaced by something that might have been fear or regret, or just the dawning realization that he would spend the next several decades behind bars.
Anything else, Mr. Wright?
No.
All right. Only because, as Mr. Bell has just said, this is the wish of the victim's family, the wishes of the prosecutor, and the bargain for sentence between all the parties. I will adopt it.
Jordan's family walked out of that courthouse without their son, without the future they had imagined, but they walked out with something they desperately needed: acknowledgement that Jordan's life mattered, proof that his death demanded accountability, evidence that justice, however imperfect and painful, still existed. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps keep these important stories alive.